Good morning, vinyl community. It's Sunday morning. This is Glen Kellaway coming to you from the basement. This video I'm nervous about. It's the folk music tag started by my friend Norman Maslov. I love folk music, but Mazzy hit me right between the eyes. I start looking, I got his 20 questions all written out, and I have a hard time filling them. And what hit me between the eyes is the fact that being a folkie, I need more folk music in my collection. It's bad. I'm embarrassed. So I'm going to do my best. First, can I talk about folk music for a second? I kind of grew up on it. I love it. I play the banjo. Played folk songs kind of all my life and that kind of music, folk rock kind of stuff. And I attended a lot of folk festivals. I was fortunate enough to see some of the greats. Odetta. I used to work folk festivals. I started out, the first time I did it was like in late 70s. I just volunteered and ended up getting a job just walking around picking up garbage. So you're watching, and you only had certain shifts, and after that you got a free pass just to watch whatever you wanted. So it was cool. Gradually I got to know people in the festivals and became involved in performer services, where I got to look after the performers, basically making sure they got from the airport to the hotel, make sure they got checked in their rooms, make sure they were comfortable, make sure they got to their gigs, and just had an enjoyable weekend. And I met a lot of people. One time backstage, I walk back, and who's sitting there? Odetta, and she's sitting by herself. And I start walk towards her, so she notices, and we kind of lock eyes, and she smiles, this most beautiful smile I've ever seen in my life. It lit up the world. I'm telling you, what a beautiful woman this woman was. So I got to see Odetta. I got to see Dave Van Ronk. Wow, gruff Dave, man, he was awesome. Man, no, it didn't get better than Dave Van Ronk. Guy was fantastic. Big inspiration on Mr. Dylan. Bob stole his version of House of the Rising Sun. Dave Van Ronk wanted to record it, and Bob went and stole it and recorded it on that first album. Yeah, who else? Townes Van Zandt. I'm trying to think of the earlier guys. Elizabeth Cotten. I saw Elizabeth Cotten. Yes. So my thing with folk music is it encompasses a lot. If you've ever been to a folk festival, there's a bluegrass band, there's a blues band, there's folk music encompasses a lot. It's not some guy standing up there singing Kumbaya. And anybody who thinks that is just doesn't have a clue. So I'm going to get started here. I'm cheating and stretching a little bit. I just want to... Chris, I've been really procrastinating because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to fill all the holes in this thing. And I just got up this morning and watched Chris Prophy's tag video, and he inspired me just to kind of go, okay, just do it, man, with what you got. And Chris did a great job, by the way. Okay, so first, like I said, we're doing a bit of stretching. Sorry, I'm dropping stuff here. All my records are caving in here on me. Okay, so first question is, show an early folk album. I gotta go blues. I'm sorry. Robert Johnson, The Complete Collection. That's my number one show of early folk. So it's blues, man. Blues is folk. Archival or field recording. We are going with my banjo hero. I'm sorry, my records are caving in on me here. We were going with my banjo hero, Bela Fleck. Bela went to Africa to learn about the origins of the banjo, took his banjo and played with all the natives in Africa. When I mean natives, I just mean people native to Africa. I didn't mean anything disparaging there. Anyway, they did a documentary on it, which is wonderful. It's won awards. Throw Down Your Heart. This is the soundtrack album, The Africa Sessions, Bela Fleck. Really, really worth listening to and checking out. That's my archival recording. Recent folk album. This came out a couple of years ago. Steve Earle, Ghosts of West Virginia, all about coal miners and stuff. It's a great album. Got a running theme through it, and fantastic album. Ghosts of West Virginia. Okay. Show your fave folk album from a man. Well, there's lots. But you know what I picked? I picked this one because I love this frickin' album, and it's not that old. It's from the 70s. Arlo Guthrie's Hobo's Lullaby. He does he had a hit with Steve Goodman's City of New Orleans, which is on here. It's about a train, and if that's not a folk song, I don't know what is. He does a couple of his dad's songs on here. 1913 Massacre, which is just a great song. He does Dylan When the Ships Come In, and then the song Hobo's Lullaby is just this is a fantastic record, and one of my favorite folky albums of all time. Okay. Favorite folk album by a woman. I was having trouble with this one too, and I went with Joan Baez. It's a great album, one of her earlier albums on Vanguard. Great record. Nobody gets folkier than Joan Baez. Show your favorite by a duo. Chris Profey showed this one as well. It's these friggin' CDs that are killing me here. There we go. I'm going with Ian and Sylvia. Greatest hits. Again, Canada's national treasure. Ian Tyson and Sylvia Tyson. Amazing. Sylvia Tyson's another person I got to meet and spend some time with in the folk music circuit. Favorite by a group. Okay, I'm going with Flat and Scruggs. Bluegrass. Flat and Scruggs played a lot of folk festivals and a lot of colleges, universities. It's a great album. Okay, what's next? By a group, folk album by a guy. For acoustic folk album, it doesn't get more acoustic than this, or better guitar playing than this, or a better album than this. Norman Blake. The man is incredible. Rounder Records. Man, this is a great album. There's so many old traditional songs on this album, and the guitar playing's fantastic. Norman Blake, if you ever get a chance to listen to that man play, do it. Show an electric folk album. Well, I'm going with The Byrds, Mr. Tambourine Man. Folk rock, maybe the father of folk rock, this album. A lot of Dylan stuff on here they covered. Electrified it all. Important album. Show a live folk album. I'm going with Live in Dublin, Bruce Springsteen with the session band, where they covered all kinds of folk songs. It was kind of tribute to Pete Seeger. Great live album and a great live video if you ever get a chance to see it as well. Okay, show up to 3 folk labels. All right, I'm going to. So we're going to go back here. And let's show Rounder Records again. Rounder does a ton of traditional type albums. A lot of bluegrass and acoustic music. Rounder. There's one. How can you not think Columbia isn't a folk label? And this is a 2i Columbia label. And Vanguard. Let's go Vanguard. This album still has its shrink wrap on it, this Joan Baez album. I love that Vanguard label. I got this album for like $1. It's in perfect shape. Okay. Show show a live, show up to 3 folk labels, show a record with protest songs. I went with Bob, Times They Are Changing. There's one right there, the title song. Great folk songs on here. Times They Are Changing. They're great protest songs. With God on Our Side, Only a Pawn in Their Game, When the Ship Comes In. Fantastic. Bob. Okay, folk artists that got blacklisted. I don't have anything, man. But, Pete Seeger is the guy who always comes to mind for me, and the Weavers and all that. So I'm just going to hold up this Springsteen album, which is kind of a tribute to Pete. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's the one I screwed up on. Okay, British folk album, single artist, I'm going to show Donovan. Donovan was a great British folk artist. There's the Mellow Yellow album. Donovan, you don't get more British folk than Donovan. Show a British folk band, amazing band. One great frickin' album. Legion Leaf, Fairport Convention. Love that record. What else have we got going on here? Show a folk rock album. I went back again and showed Mr. Tambourine Man for some reason. I had it written down. I got it written down twice, so there we go. Folk rock album. Show a folk song covered by a rock band. I'm going back to Bruce again. Oh no, I'm going with Sarah Gerard's folk song. No, that's it. Bruce Springsteen, sorry. Whole bunch of folk songs covered on this. Old Dan Tucker, Jesse James, which is a great song to play in the banjo. Man, I should have had my banjo out and worked up a version of that. John Henry, My Oklahoma Home, Shenandoah, Pay Me My Money Down, We Shall Overcome, Froggy Went A-Courtin'. Bruce did a good job on that. Dylan's song covered by another artist. I love this artist. Young girl by the name of Sarah Gerard. She's been around quite a while now and really puts out some beautiful music. She does a cover of Dylan's song Ring Them Bells off of Oh Mercy that is absolutely beautiful. Sarah Gerard's. Okay. Dylan song covered by another artist. Show your fave folk rock cover. This was hard to do. I went with this. There's a lot of great covers, but I really like this cover. How about Bruce Cockburn dancing in the Dragon's Jaw? That's a beautiful cover. Love it. Love Bruce Cockburn too, another great Canadian artist. And then tell us about your favorite folk song. Well, my favorite folk song was written by my favorite artist, Bob Dylan. Well, Beatles and Bob Dylan are tied. So, the first time I heard Bob Dylan, no, I didn't know it was Bob Dylan. I heard Peter, Paul, and Mary, Blowing in the Wind. Great song. They did an amazing version of it, and it was a while yet before I knew of Bob. But that is my favorite folk song. Just listen to the words, man. It's just, I don't know if any song's ever been written more poignantly and kind of just tells it as it is. And yeah, Mazzy, thank you for doing this. I hope I did it justice. I was thinking about playing a song at the end of my video, but you know what scared me? I thought if I screw it up, I got to do this whole video again. And then so I said, I chickened out. So maybe I'll work up something and add it as an addendum or something in a day or two. Thanks again. Everybody have a great Sunday. I love you all. Mazzy, thanks for doing this. Everybody jump on board and please subscribe to Norman Maslov's channel. Glenn loves you.